I thought a lot of people were trying to call out Jewish supremacy, but you can't beat Zionism, Jewish supremacy, with another form of supremacy. If you believe that whites are the superior race, guess what? That's a Jewish idea. What makes Judaism corrupt and why there's a problem with Jewish supremacy is because they believe that they're the chosen people based on the Talmud, and everybody else is goy. They can do business with each other that they won't do with the rest of the world. They can do high interest loans, usury, sell porn, sell all this to the rest of the world, the Jewish people, but they won't do that between themselves because they don't want to screw each other over because they believe they're the chosen people. So if you fight that by believing whites are the supreme race, you're complicit in the same ideology that made the world the way it is now. It's very Jewish. If you are a white supremacist, you're Jewish. Same ideology.
Who brainwashed them? I don't think Sneako understands why the Jews are called the chosen people. Maybe he's talking from a Talmud perspective only. I haven't read the Talmud, so I can't comment on it. But according to the Bible, the Jews are called the chosen people because God chose them to reveal his revelation that will bring about salvation to the rest of humanity through Jesus Christ. It has nothing to do with Jews being better or more special than any other race. For example, why did Allah reveal the Quran in Arabic instead of Latin or any other language? Are Arabs better than anyone else? But like I said, maybe Sneako is talking about the Talmud only. We'll see. Well, according to Sneako, if a person agrees with the far right, then that person is a white supremacist and that makes him a Jew. That's what Sneako accused Andrew Tate of. He said Andrew Tate is a white supremacist and a Jew. That is one serious accusation to make, if you ask me.
The only reason I even replied to him is because he implied I was Jewish, which he knows is a bit far.
I'm skeptical about this claim. This idea that if you agree with one of the views of the far right, then that makes you a white supremacist, which makes you a Jew. But you know what? I'm willing to test out Sneako's logic and see if it passes the test, because something just doesn't add up. So according to Sneako, a white supremacist is a person that believes that white people are superior because of their race, because of their skin color. But isn't that also the definition for racism? A racist person is a person who thinks they are superior because of their skin color. So if to be a white supremacist means to be a racist, wouldn't Sneako under this definition be considered a white supremacist also, since he has been racist to black people?
Even before I was speaking with the men that are here about the carnival that's happening tomorrow in London. I was like, oh yeah, just monkeys twerking in the street.
You can't say that.
I just did.
No, but you can't.
I just did.
Clearly, he's literally being a racist. So if to be a white supremacist means to be a Jew, using Sneako's logic, then Sneako is also a white supremacist and a Jew, since Sneako has been racist to black people. Sneako even asked Muslims if he could say the N-word.
For them, this is equivalent to what we call a major sin in Islam. For a person to say this about another person, this is like you've done.
That's a major sin?
No, I'm saying this is how the West looks at it.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying.
In Islam, you can say the N-word, right?
Yeah, look.
I was about to say it, but it's Ramadan. I don't want to.
Look, these are all. Look, in Islam.
So is that a yes or no?
I'm gonna answer you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can hear people saying now, a Sneako is quarter black, so he can't be a racist. Therefore, he can't be a Jew. He was only joking. Well, isn't Andrew Tate quarter black as well? And isn't Sneako calling him a white supremacist and a Jew? As you can see, Sneako is full of shit. Now, Sneako has converted to Islam and has used hadiths to support the idea that he can't be a racist or white supremacist because Islam does not believe in racism and Islamic supremacism, unlike the Talmud. But is this true? Does the Quran teach Islamic supremacism and racism? Sneako quoted a hadith saying that Arabs are not better than non-Arabs, implying that Islam does not teach Islamic supremacism and racism. Here's the tweet. Sneako says Prophet Muhammad said, "No Arab has any superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a white man have any superiority over a black man, or the black man any superiority over the white man. You are all children of Adam, and Adam was created from earth." But like I said, is this true? Does the Quran and Hadiths teach Islamic supremacism and racism? The answer is yes, it does. The Hadith that Sneako quoted that said that Arabs are not better than non-Arabs only applies to Muslims, not non-Muslims. This hadith is talking about Muslims, people that believe in Islam. The hadith is not talking about non-Muslims. And here's the evidence. If Muslims and non-Muslims were treated equally or are equal in the eyes of Islam, then why are non-Muslims considered dhimmis in an Islamic state and have to pay a special tax called the jizya instead of the zakat, which is what the regular Muslim pays? And where does this come from? It comes from the Quran. Surah 929, fight against those who do not believe in Allah or in the last day, and who do not consider unlawful what Allah and His Messenger have made unlawful, and who do not adopt the religion of truth from those who were given the scriptures. Fight until they give the jizya willingly while they are humbled. Dhimmi means protected persons. Protected from who? What if I didn't want to pay a second-class tax? What do you think would happen to the Christian who refused? This distinction alone clearly proves that Islamic supremacism exists. Historically, Muslims would conquer Christian lands and reduce Christians and Jews to second-class citizens. As second-class citizens, Christians would have to pay a special tax in the land that belonged to them. For you to understand how non-Muslims are treated under the status of dhimmis, we don't have to look further than the Pact of Umar, which is backed by the Quran and the Hadiths. I just Googled this, the Pact of Umar, okay, and this is from Wiki Islam, all right? So this is from Islamic sources. According to many Muslims historians, the Pact of Umar is an agreement between a subdued Christian population and the Muslim invader led by Umar ibn al-Khattab, the second rightly guided caliph. The Pact of Umar laid down many of the fundamental particulars of the Dhimma. And then it goes on to say that in traditional mainstream circles, this document is continued to be almost universally accepted as genuine by Islamic scholars. Okay, and yeah, it's dated 637 AD. I'm not going to read everything. I'm actually going to read the Pact of Umar itself so you can actually see what the Pact of Umar actually said. And here's what it said. Here's how Christians should be treated. This is what they told Christians to say. All right, Christians had to say this after being conquered. The Pact of Umar was reportedly a treaty between Umar, the second rightly guided caliph, and the conquered Christians of Syria, circa 637. And although Jews were not specifically mentioned in the pact, it was nevertheless generally considered a model for how Muslims were to deal with both Jewish and Christian populations. And it says, Ibn Kathir wrote that the Pact of Umar, in a section titled Paying Jizya, is a sign of kufar, disbelief and disgrace, which was part of the Ibn Kathir explanation of the meaning of chapter 9 verse 29 of the Quran. This verse consists of Allah's command to the Muslims to fight against the Jews and Christians until they paid the jizya with willing submissions and feel themselves subdued. And look what it says. This is what Christians had to say they admit to. Okay, this is what they were forced to say they admit to. We will have the front of our hair cut, wear our customary clothes wherever we are, wear belts around our waist, refrain from erecting crosses on the outside of our churches and demonstrating them and our books in public in Muslim fairways and markets. We will not sound the bells in our churches except discreetly, or raise our voices while reciting our holy books inside our churches in the presence of Muslims, nor raise our voices with prayer of our funerals or light torches in funeral processions in the fairways of Muslims or the markets. We will not bury our dead next to Muslim dead or by servants who were captured by Muslims. We will be guides for Muslims and refrain from breaching their privacy in their homes. When I gave this document to Umar, he added to it, we will not beat any Muslim. These are the conditions that we set against ourselves and followers of our religion in return for safety and protection. If we break any of these promises that we set for your benefit against ourselves, then our Dhimma, promise of protection, is broken, and you are allowed to do with us what you are allowed of people of defiance and rebellion. So the message of the Pact of Umar to Jews and Christians is that if they do not become subservient to and allow themselves to be disgraced and humiliated by Muslims, then the Jews and Christians are considered defiant and rebellious and can be dealt with accordingly by Muslims. Go and read it, guys, and you'll see it for yourself. Okay, it's one rule for Muslims and another for Jews and Christians. So if you're talking about Islamic supremacism, yes, it does exist. Islam is about Islamic supremacism, okay, over everyone else who is a non-Muslim. So again, Sneako does not know what he's talking about. As far as racism goes, look up Sahih al-Bukhari volume 9, book 87, hadith 161. This is what it says. Narrated by Abdullah, the Prophet said, I saw in a dream a black woman with unkempt hair going out of Medina and settling at Mahaya, i.e. Al-Jufa. I interpreted that as a symbol of a epidemic of Medina being transferred to that place, Al-Jufa. So he interpreted a black woman going from Medina to this area as an epidemic. Okay, that is racist, guys. That is racist. So what's the solution? The solution here is to accept the truth. Using Sneako's logic, Sneako is a white supremacist Jew because he has been racist to black people. Using Sneako's logic, Sneako is a white supremacist Jew because Islam clearly teaches Islamic supremacism over non-Muslims. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the reaction. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the Solution Podcast, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace.